What is good, y'all? It's Ronald, also known as Youcapper from Sportsmemo.com. Welcome to Let's Cap. Got my guy Chris B capping with me. Yesterday went 1-2 on the day in the NBA yesterday. Hopefully we bounce back today. How did your NBA go yesterday?
NBA went well. RC, I feel like, man, when I hit in a few of the early games, like the late plays end up, going the opposite way. I know you kind of talked me onto that Kings team total over. I don't know if you made it official or not, but I ended up playing the Kings team total to go over. Liked all the support that we found on that game, so that one didn't cash. Also was on Sabonis rebounds over 13.5, and he was killing it in the first half. He had like 7 or 8, I think, and finished with like 8. So second half, weren't able to rebound the ball. I don't think the game went the way that we thought it would. I know that the Kings went way under their team total in that one. But the day started early. I talked about the Magic being my favorite spot. Their team total over. That cash, Wendell Carter Jr. over 8.5 rebounds, double, 10 rebounds, all that good
You
stuff.
almost had that at halftime.
Yeah, 7-7, I think, at halftime. Yeah. So that was a game that I really locked in on, trying to figure out a way to fade the Pacers on the second night of a back-to-back after all the energy they exerted. So it was a productive day. Could have been a little more productive, but and a couple other things that we talked about.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say a couple other things that we talked about. We talked about I didn't make an official play, but Ben Simmons under his PRA also cashed, and then we talked about after the show. We talked about the team total under for the Rockets. And that cashed as well. So
So I ended up going with the 3 that I said yesterday. I didn't play the Rockets team total under, which was what we talked about right after the show. I should have added that, but I had the Bucks team total over. They just had no sense of urgency in that game with Murray and Jokic out. I thought just one of them was gonna sit, but both of them ended up sitting. So they didn't feel like playing that hard at all until the second half, basically. Kings team total over. They just fell flat. I didn't expect that to happen there. Grizzlies team total under squeaked by there. Luckily went into luckily Poole finished it in regulation, because obviously that would have been dead at OT. Rockets team total under. I was really gonna hit that after the show, but I don't know why I didn't do it. Should have done it. Could have ended up going 2-2, but hopefully we bounce back today.
Absolutely.
We got 6 games on the slate. I don't know if we're gonna get through all of them, but maybe if we have time, we could do it. Let's see what we got going in the chat. All right. Bulls first half -3. Knicks first half +5. Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's actually just get straight into those games then. Let's go into this first one. Did you have anything on the Bulls Hornets?
Not much. I see we mentioned we were talking about this game. Really just wanting to fade how bad the Charlotte Hornets have been recently, but they're a really scary team in my estimation. I see, even when you expect them to play bad, it's typically when they throw in a good game. We also got the injury news with LaMelo being listed as questionable in this one. He didn't play in the last game. We know that they are coming off a little road trip, so it'll be their first game back home. But I want to say Charlotte is actually one of the better teams I see, and you can look at that. We talk about fading teams sometimes off of road trips. I think some teams play well off road trips, and I think they want to get back home in front of their crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they need some home cooking, whatever the case might be. But some teams play well. So can we look at the Hornets specifically? RC?
Yeah,
off 2, let's just say a 3-game road trip.
Is that right? Home off a 3-game road trip?
Yeah.
So they're struggling on the offensive side of the ball the last few games.
Yeah. 32 points in the first quarter, though. That's you wouldn't think that. You know what I mean? Most teams don't come home and score 32 points. It's also, I think, 4th game in 6 nights for them as well. So not the greatest spot for them. But I do think the Bulls, the team that's been playing well recently, I do think that they probably bounce back in this spot. So I couldn't talk Brian off that first half -3. They've been playing really, really well in the first half, in the first quarter recently as well. They let go of the rope, but I think we both, understand that was because they were in a phase spot. They were in a bad spot against the Pacers on the second night of a back-to-back after beating Atlanta the night before, and they had just came back from Paris. So I think it's more of a get-right spot for them in this one. Actually.
One thing, so to support you, you're looking towards the Bulls, right?
Yeah, but didn't play anything. Yeah.
Okay. So I was just looking at this Hornets as home dogs. They already struggle in that spot specifically. 3-12 straight up, 4-11 ATS. For the most part, they're struggling on the offensive side of the ball. In some of these games, I'm pretty sure LaMelo was in there for the most part. If you look at the opponent team total, over their team total in 6 straight of these spots here as home dogs. If we go back to the Bulls, I was actually looking towards the under the full game on this one here. So I'm gonna dive into what I saw. So if we look at the Bulls and they're on a road game, they're on the road just specifically, right? 8-15 straight up on the road, and if we say they're playing 2 road games in a row, and you start to see the under here, right? 8-3 to the under, average about 221, and we're seeing 234.5 as your total. And then one thing here, you add that they're coming off of a road loss. This is where it becomes a little bit more apparent. Is that 6-0 to the under here? That's what I'm seeing, and that's only what 115 and a half basically, and 234 is that spot here. We're seeing that these totals, there's some comparable totals here, even some totals that are above of the 234 and a half, and they're still going under. Even just like looking at the combined score there. So I can only look towards the under here. And if we look at the Bulls last 10 games, let me bring this, zoom in a little bit. Last 10 games, the Bulls defense, 4th in the league in defensive rating, right? And then if we look at the offensive side of the ball, the Hornets are 21st in offensive rating there. And typically, I really would only take the under if LaMelo isn't in there. One thing that I was seeing too is that their pace typically would be in the top 10, right? For the most part, last 10 games, they're here in 12th, or like towards the middle of the pack. So it's kind of been slowing down a little bit. I don't know if it has to do with some of the roster issues because of injuries, but for the most part, only the way that I could look is towards this under here. Maybe a team total under as well, right? That could be another situation. Anything else on this one? Did you guys?
I think prop wise, RC, going back to Vucevic. I know a couple. We talked about him. I think Munaf is on him as well. Looking at his rebounds plus assists, dude's been a monster recently. You take out that last game, you kind of throw away that one because we know the spot he was in. He's been crushing it. I think his line's at 16.5 right now. It's a little juice, like minus 118.
Yeah.
But it's 16.5 of rebounds and assists, and you can see the 24 there, the 21 there, 17. Also on the opposite side, I think I got in my notes that Charlotte recent defensive performances versus opposing centers. So Sengun just had 12 rebounds and 6 assists. Lloyd Marketing had 11 rebounds. Robert Williams had 9 rebounds and 12 rebounds. Bismack Biyombo, Clint Capella, and Miles Turner all had 9 rebounds as well. And Vooch, that's what he's been doing, better recently. So playing his rebound straight or his, points plus his rebounds plus assists, I think is absolutely in play in this game. Last 5 games I see, Vooch is averaging 12.8 rebounds and 5.2 assists, which is good for 18 rebounds and assists. Line sitting at 16.5 today.
Yeah, just looking at this real quick, I brought up that fantasy matchups here. Centers against Hornets, they do well on the rebounding side and even on the points. So it might be that PRA, right? Or you only said rebounds and assists, huh?
Rebounds and assists. Just because I don't trust Vooch, like to score the ball. He just. I mean, not that he can't score, but he just go through spurts where they just don't give him the ball. More recently, that I think Billy Donovan came out and said that he wanted to run the offense through him a little bit more.
Yeah.
So he's been, his assist numbers have been up. So I think we can kind of ride that. The regular line I think I see is like 3.5, but it's juiced to the over like minus 142. So I think he can, continue to kind of run the offense through him today.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Let's do all right, let's go into this next one here. Where is the next game? Knicks and Celtics. You have anything on this one?
Yeah, I see. So probably my favorite play today is looking at the Celtics to bounce back in the spot. Let me get to my notes. So first game back home for the Celtics off a 3-game road trip. Third game in 4 nights. Fourth game in 6 nights. Typically not a spot you really want to back teams in. They're also off 2 straight losses, 4 straight non-covers, right? But to me, it seems like a really, really get right spot for them because on the opposite side, you get the Knicks, who also just came off a win. So I think you want to fade them coming off the win. especially without Mitchell Robinson. Myself and Munaf were on your show earlier this week, and we talked about the team total for the Cleveland Cavaliers to go over, and they burnt us in their last spot. But this Cavaliers offense is nothing like this Celtics offense. Celtics also getting healthier. Robert Williams missed that last game. Jaylen Brown also didn't play because they won the second night of a back-to-back. Brogdon wasn't out. He was out for personal reasons. They get all three of those guys back. Look like they're going to have a healthy lineup minus Marcus Smart today. So everybody else should be in. So a couple things I looked at, I see, was Celtics as home favorites in conference games. 5-2 to the over, or of their team total specifically. When the total is set at 223.5 to about 227. So I just sorted it by total, RC, and looked at that specifically.
Okay. You talking about this area right here?
Mm-hmm. You see all those overs?
Yeah.
So that was one thing.
If we just say under 230, it should be pretty good too. Right, under 230.
Right.
Gotcha.
10-2, and they've been the team that's been scoring. You see,
what's their team total at?
115.5 right now, and the total is dropping, which I like it even more because I don't think that the Celtics struggle to score the ball in the spot without Mitchell Robinson in. And I'm gonna get to that point in a second. Yeah. Another angle I looked at, RC, Celtics coming off a previous away loss when the next game is at home.
Oh yeah, I just had that one up. Yeah, that's what I was looking at earlier. 123. They hit 123 in each one of those games.
Mm-hmm. So you got 123 versus the Cavs, the Bulls, 125 versus the Mavs, clean that team total in all three games by margin, by 10, 8, and 11.5. You got it right there on your screen.
Yeah. This one went into OT, but I think they went over their team total in regulation. I believe.
Right. That was also the first week of the season, so you don't take it too much into consideration. Different team. They got Robert Williams back now. So
yep. 100%.
Yeah.
Smart is out as well still, right?
Yeah, Smart is out. But that does not help though, RC. I was gonna get to that point last. It doesn't help when he's out. Really? I actually looked at they're 7-1 to the under without Marcus Smart in this year. Me and Munaf was actually just looking at that before.
Okay. Damn. That's interesting.
So if you go to give me the if you go to Stab News and look at it, I see they're actually, it's a big difference between with him in and with him out as far as their point total. I just feel like this is a good right spot for him, no matter if he's in or if he's out. I looked at their pace, RC. I just typed in Celtics pace with Marcus Smart and then looked at it without him as well. You see that they're scoring a lot fewer points. So 119 with him in, and
so 90. So their pace with him, their pace without him is crazy.
You see the point total? You see the difference? It's 9 points.
That's a lot.
Yeah, 9-point difference with them and without them this season. I think that they can overcome that though, just because the opposite side is, you look at this Knicks team, and I think it's a fate of their defense. They come off a strong game at home versus the Cavs, but this team is they've allowed at least 122 points the Knicks have allowed in the last 2 road games without Mitchell Robinson. They're 0-2 straight up and against the spread, allowing 139 to Atlanta and 125 to Toronto. 2 teams that don't nearly have as much offense as the Celtics do in this spot, in my estimation.
That's interesting that I just looked at the defensive rating too.
Mm-hmm.
So defensive rating with him in is 113.2. Without him, it's 109.4. So it's even better too. That's kind of crazy to think about, especially with him being such a key perimeter defender.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So one thing that kind of caused me a little bit of pause on this one, RC, was that you do get a Celtics team on the 4th game in 6 nights, right? We talk about teams like not having their legs underneath them.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that's interesting to note is that for the Celtics in this spot, it's not all of their guys, right? Like all of their guys are in a 4th game in 6 nights. Jason Tatum missed the game against Toronto the other day. right?
Yeah.
He missed it with a wrist injury. Jaylen Brown missed the following game because he didn't play against Orlando. Al Horford didn't play in the second night of a back-to-back. Brogdon's been out for personal reasons, missed the last 2 games, right? So I don't think that impacts this team, 100%. Like all, everybody that's going to be in the rotation is playing on the 4th game in 6 nights. So, and then the other thing with that, RC, and you can go look this up, but you look at the Celtics on their 4th game in 6 nights. This team performs well. You typically want to fade teams in this spot, but the Celtics perform well. So rest equals 1, previous rest equals 0, and previous rest equals 1.
Damn. So this is 4th game in 6 nights. 12-2 straight up, 10-4 ATS, 8-6 to the under. You said what was their team total again?
115.5.
Gotcha. This talks me off my early lean on the Knicks side.
Hold on, I got something different. I got 5-0 straight up, 4-1 to their team total over.
I think it's specifically because I did just 4th game in 6 nights.
Oh, got you.
Right? I didn't say like, oh, they had 1 day rest before.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I think yours was more specific.
Okay, yeah, mine is a little more specific because I'm like,
so
that's a lot of damn games.
I just say rest equals 1. It comes a little bit tighter. For the most part, I agree. Look at their first half team total over.
Yeah, the only thing that took me off of that one I see is that the Knicks do play better in the first half than they do in the second half. But that was something I looked at as well.
Okay, let me. I don't want to talk you off anything, but I just want to see what your thoughts are on how I broke this game down real quick. So I looked at the Celtics, and I said P A N H. 6-2 straight up, 2-6 ATS, 6-2 to the over. So this kind of goes along with your team total over, which is fine. But as far as the spread goes, it points towards the Knicks. And if we say the total is less than 230, I was actually looking towards the under. Sorry, not the under, the over on the Knicks side. So Knicks or the team total over Knicks or the full game over. But this one points to the over for the most part, right? 6-0 to the over. Man, now it just seems like it's teams like you said, Celtics team over. Even if they don't cover. All right, well, let's keep going. So all right, and then on the Knicks side, and we go. So here's that. This is where I was looking at the Knicks side. 8-3 straight up, 9-2 ATS, 6-4-1 to the over. So still full game over, but now you start to see that the opponents here start to tend to struggle, right? And let's do dog. On that side, you could see like 6 straight team total overs for the Knicks there. These went over in regulation as well for them. And then the other thing is just road dog in general, not even just off a home game. Right there, 7 straight team total overs on their side. So that's the reason why I was going in that direction. But it seems like it's just both. It just
for the full game, right?
Yeah, it's just over the full game because we see support on both sides, both to cover. We see support on both sides to go over the team total. So why not just take the full game over, right?
So I see one more thing real quick while you got that up. So
yeah.
So you almost just had it up just now, but Knicks off a previous home win when they're away dog. I think their offense tends to fade in the second half, if I'm not mistaken, and they score a lot less points. Is that accurate? 52 points in the second half versus 57 in the first half?
Or would you say 60. Home off a home win?
And yeah, and then they're away dog, yeah.
Well, I mean, just everything's still pointing to the over, so.
Right. But do you think it's more of a first half over because their offense tends to struggle a little bit more in the second half? You see they're getting outscored in the second half by what's that? Like 6 points?
Yeah.
Or no? I didn't break down the half at all. I just like the I think at the end of the game, the Celtics gonna have more than 115, 116 points.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we just look one way here and just say that the over is the play. This might be one of those LJ just play the over type things.
Just play the over type things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it.
Under.
Did you look at the Knicks in as away dogs in conference games? I see.
Nope. 6-3 to the over. Yeah. I just say I think we just go over. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I don't want to. I didn't. The only reason I didn't take the full over, and I still like it. I see. The only reason I didn't take it is because the Celtics offense, I think, is predicated on missed shots and then being able to get the rebound. Without Mitchell Robinson in there, their offense, can struggle just a little bit more when they're not getting those offensive rebounds. And they've been just giving it up the last few games. The Knicks have in away games. You see the last two right there. The Hawks and the Raptors both scored, over 125. I think the Celtics do too, coming off a home loss. I think that was one other way I see. I don't think we talked about that one, but the Celtics as a home favorite off a road loss. They tend to bounce back in that spot.
Yeah. Still everything just full game over, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the strongest look is just a full game over. Let's move on to. Do you have any props on this one?
I was looking at Marcus Smart threes, just because the Knicks are bottom.
He's out, right? Isn't he out today?
I mean, I'm sorry, not Marcus Smart. Jaylen Brown threes.
Oh,
it's a little bit juice, so I'm probably not gonna get there. But his threes, I think, are probably the best play, is because the Knicks struggle against the 3-point line.
Yeah.
And just in general, they're bottom 8 in 3-point makes over the last 5 games. 3-point attempts, they're allowing a lot of attempts, and they're bottom 8 as well in the 3-point percentage, opponent 3-point percentage as well. So Jaylen Brown's a guy that's been shooting double-digit 3-pointers. You can get better value on his line than taking Tatum, who was at 3.5 for plus money. So I do think somebody on the Boston Celtics hits 4 threes tonight, but with Boston, it's kind of it's kind of a crapshoot. You never really know who's going to be hot that night. So no props from me on that one.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's move on to the next one here. Pistons and Nets. Man, I don't even know if I want to touch this one. Like, as far as like actually betting on. What did I say on Jay's show? I said something about like I don't want to step in front of the Nets because it seems like they're figuring it out offensively on the Nets side, but it seems like also a spot that we should fade the Nets at the same time. The second game of back-to-back, they're shorthanded. They just played. They just had like an emotional loss yesterday, right, against the Sixers. I think one thing Jay was saying something about like the line went down, then it's coming back up. I think people were expecting some announcement that someone's gonna sit, but no, nothing's happened yet. So that's why there's probably some buyback on the Nets. But I think right now it's sort of a wait and see who's going to be playing in this game. What are your thoughts on this one?
No, I agree. I agree with it. I see, like you said, coming off a really emotional game. I think my initial look is whenever I see the Pistons, the first thing I think about is points. Right? We know that this team struggles defensively. They give up just a lot of points in general. They also, one thing I looked at was just their pace. I don't think a lot of people notice. Pistons actually first in the NBA in pace in the last 5 games. They've allowed 4 of their last 6 opponents to go over their team total as well. And I think I like this spot for the Nets because they're coming off a loss, right? When you're coming off a loss and it's the second night of a back-to-back, what better team do you want to see, RC, than a team that doesn't play any type of defense at all? And that also plays at an extremely fast pace. So I was looking at the Nets team total in this one. It's up to, I think it's at 120.5. But, I mean, you see right there, look at that, RC, like previous loss, like they can score the ball. If you just look at them, like you said, that they've been kind of figuring it out offensively.
Yeah.
The Nets can score the ball. They've scored the ball. They've gone over their team total in 2 of the last 3 games, including last night against the Philadelphia 76ers team that's much better defensively than the Detroit Pistons. It's night and day. They went over their team total in regulation in that game. So I was looking at the Nets team total to go over. I got some support for it, but nothing that I put my money on.
Yeah, I think we This one's tough. I just feel like something's gonna happen. Just like the Nuggets yesterday, nothing was on the injury report. Then all of a sudden everybody was out. This might be that type of situation here. I think there's, obviously, so the Nets are favored by a big margin here. They're shorthanded, no KD. And I think, Kyrie played heavy minutes. Claxton played heavy minutes. I don't know. I think some roster issues are gonna affect this game later on. This might be a wait and see. But for the most part, I'll probably sit this one out. Uh, yeah, I'm not gonna touch this one. Did you have any props or anything like that? I know LJ mentioned Claxton double.
I mean, Claxton been absolutely on beast mode recently. I couldn't talk anybody off Claxton. I do think I don't really want to miss an opportunity to fade Detroit, RC. So when we do get information, like you said, confirmation is always important on who's going to be in, who's going to be out. But I do, like I said, I like the spot for the Nets just because they are coming off a loss, and typically those teams coming off a loss, whether it's first game, like how hard do you have to play to beat the Pistons? So yeah.
So check this though. So I looked at this while I was on Jay's show. I looked at this spot here because they gave up 150 to the Bucks, right? Mm-hmm. That was the last game.
Mm-hmm.
Look at them here after giving up 130 in a game. 7-3 straight up, 7-3 ATS, 6-4 to the over, right? They're averaging 122.2 points per game, but there are a couple OT games in here. But look at some of these wins. Warriors, Nuggets, Mavs, Warriors again. Like, those aren't like boo-boo teams, dude. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like, this is a spot maybe I don't know. I don't know the situation, but this is why I didn't want to touch the Nets. Is because
what if you filter that, RC, and just add that they're away as well? So it's a road game. Still good. Okay.
Still good. Yeah. So, I mean, I get first initially I was like, all right, this is a big number. Nets second back-to-back off emotional loss. But at the same time, we know Detroit's defense sucks, right? Their pace is higher. That means more opportunity for the Nets to score. But then the Nets we don't know who's playing. So there were just so many question marks for me that I didn't want to touch it. But initial look was actually to the Pistons with this number. I think it was at like 9 to begin with. So, but I don't know. I don't think I could put my money on it.
Yeah, not strong enough for me either.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I see a couple people in the chat talking about Durham rebounds. Definitely in look. He's only been back for 2 games. He's cleared that line both games. I think it's 10.5 is juice, like minus 130. But I see Chris said Nets are third worst rebounding team in the league. After you go get past Nicholas Claxton, like they don't have anybody else that's getting close to double-digit rebounds. Ben Simmons, a rebound occasionally, but I do like that look a lot. I like Durham rebounds as well.
Spurs injury report. Oh my god.
Yeah. I was just about to tell you that, RC. So Josh Richardson questionable with a knee injury. Romeo Langford just got listed out. Jeremy Socon also listed as doubtful with the quad injury. Stanley Johnson questionable. So yeah, and Eric Gordon just got listed out for the Rockets as well.
God, I'm glad I didn't place any bets yet.
Jason Tate out. Yeah. Thursday turned into Saturday, RC.
Bruh, that's crazy. LJ mentioned Detroit's horrible against the East. Road conference games, 2-11 straight up, 9-3, 3-9-1 ATS. Definitely struggling. Yeah, I'm not gonna touch this one.
And RC, real quick, one more thing. Can you go back to the Pistons getting 130 points scored on them?
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if you can take out the road, but what if their opponent is coming off a loss? Because we talk about motivation spots all the time.
Oops. Three and 2. Still getting over their team total.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to check that because we know teams overlook teams like the Pistons. They will overlook teams like the Spurs, and next thing you know, you're in a dogfight, right? So
yeah, it's all about that momentum going into that fourth quarter too. If Nets chill the first half, and then Pistons, feel like they have some momentum on their side, like, all right, we can actually win this game. That's tough. I mean, if you actually played basketball, you had that feeling in you had that feeling of you can beat this team, even though that you're supposed to be overmatched. you play really hard till the end of the till the buzzer.
It's funny you mentioned that, RC, because these two teams played earlier in Detroit, and Detroit got to their team total. The Nets won the game, but they didn't cover the spread. And after that game, I remember KD saying that, Detroit always plays them really, really tough. So I didn't go back and look at it, but I do remember that game being really tough. KD had to take over in that game. And I think he scored like 13 points or something like that, 16 in the second half for them to win that game because Detroit was playing them really tough.
Yeah. Damn, they had to come back at half. They were down by 17.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they had to fight back. Yeah.
That's tough. Yeah. It's definitely one of those overlooked situations. Let's go on to this Cavs Rockets. I know you have a look on this one, and this one too. I feel like I was on the other side, but maybe you have some good angles here.
Yeah. So shout out to our guy Munov. Munov kind of brought this one to my attention. Brought some support to my attention. I do think that the line's gonna move, RC, because like I said, we did just get news that we got Kevin Love listed as questionable 2 minutes ago. We got Jayshawn Tate listed as out, injury management, aka tanking. Eric Gordon knee tanking, listed as out as well. So this line's probably gonna shift towards the Cavs, a little bit more. I think both of those guys probably maybe move the line like a half a point, maybe a point. They're not like big factors, but they are contributing guys that are in that starting lineup. So
we're seeing Circa got 9.5 already.
God damn. Okay, I didn't think it was gonna go that far. But another game I see where the Cavs we can't back them on the road as a favorite. We can't back them on the road in general. I think it's something like 8-14, 6-8. You got it up right there as a favorite. Well, 8-14 on the road in general. They don't typically cover big spreads, little spreads, any of those. So also big key injury news on the other side is that Donovan Mitchell, who pulled that groin, re-aggravated that groin injury on the last play against the Knicks the other day. He's probably gonna miss this game. He hasn't been ruled out yet, but the latest injury report news that we got yesterday said that he was listed, said that he would probably miss a couple games. So
Jay said this game and tomorrow's game he'll probably
I'm pretty sure he's gonna miss both. So I think Darius Garland, shout out to KC. She hopped in the chat earlier and told me that it was his birthday. I had no idea. But I think you look at Garland, I think it's also a get right spot for Cleveland. Like, you can't keep losing games on the road over and over again. So I was looking, not laying that many points with them, RC, but I was looking at their team total to go over. One thing I looked at, RC, was what if they're coming off a away loss in their next game is away as well?
6-2, 5-2-1, 5-3 to the under though. For the most part, but I mean, most of that is on their side, opponent side, right? 6-2 to their team total under for the opponent.
We talked about fading the Rockets on their team total yesterday. Maybe we just go back to that look. Another thing I wanted to share real quick, RC, then I'm done. Look at the Rockets on the second night of a back-to-back.
Yeah, struggling there.
Yeah, first quarter specifically. Pointed this out to me earlier.
First quarter. It's crazy because, all right, let's go. Let's move this to home.
I was just about to say you added that, huh?
1-1. Look at that fourth quarter. I was talking to Jay after the show because we're trying to break this game down because he also likes the Cavs, but the way that we were talking about it, I was like, why don't we just take the fourth quarter Cavs only? Just like only the Cavs for like nothing else. Just game flow wise, it seems like Rockets at home, they typically like the first half, right? And then they start to fade the second half.
They fade, yeah. They're the worst. They got to be the worst scoring team in the fourth quarter in the NBA. It's not even close.
Yeah, same thing as yesterday, right? We talked about it right after the show. We were like, all right, second half, take the under. Sure enough, that shit hit.
With no concern at all, right? And they were on pace to go over at the end of the first half, and then just didn't score in the second half. So
that was crazy. I was like, yeah, glad I stayed away. And then I was like, fuck, why didn't I bet it?
Yeah, they didn't even score at all. They didn't score at all in the fourth quarter. So people who watching, live bet, whatever the spread is, like you could just live bet the spread at the end of the third quarter because the Rockets aren't trying to win games. What they did yesterday was a clear definition of tanking, man. That's exactly what they're trying to do. Who be
Garland,
their
right?
Darius Garland birthday is
Garland.
what I
Yeah.
heard, Markel.
So all right, so this is what this is what you brought to my attention yesterday. All right, so we go win percentage greater than 50 and win percentage less than 50 this season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fade the team that has a winning record. All right, so now we add a couple parameters. We'll say, all right, well, what if that team's on the road? Right, even better percentage to fade them, 42.1, and then we add one more. This is where it gets stupid, right? Second, a back-to-back for their opponent. Look at that shit. 4-17-2 ATS fading the Cavs. Like, I don't know, man. That's the reason why I stayed away from it, because I told Jay, I was like, all right, there's this trend here, but at the same time, this is a situation where you kind of have to use the eye test too, right? We talk about balancing our capping, right? It's not just trends. It's not just things like that. It also has to be something that you're seeing. So I don't know. As good as this trend looks, I don't know if I could back the Rockets full game.
I see. What if you took the 40% out and put the Rockets in there? How do they do against teams that have 50% win percentage playing on the second night of a back-to-back?
The same situation, just Rockets. Oh, okay.
No. Just the team. No, RC. Like the team equal Rockets, and the opponent has a 50% win percentage.
All right. And then rest equals 0?
Yeah, and rest equals 0, yeah. All the other parameters that you had.
All right, so there.
Celtics smashed them.
Did they cover that first half? I think they did.
Yep.
Fourth quarter. I'm telling you, dude, Rockets.
It's just
play the Rockets in the fourth quarter.
Right? Every time, I see. Yeah, every time. Go to NBA.com, go to advanced stats, and just look at fourth quarter scoring. I see. It has to be like it has to be really, really bad. I haven't looked at it. I just know it off general principle.
Yeah.
But yeah, traditional go.
We go net rating. You probably just see it right there.
Yep.
Minus
there you
11.
go.
Man, look at the Spurs.
That's tanking. It's tanking at its finest. I didn't think Memphis would be on the list though. Damn.
I think it's more so that they're fucking always in the lead.
That is what it is.
Yeah.
Yep. Could you take them first half all the time? That makes sense.
Yeah.
You see the Knicks on there too. The Pistons on there.
God damn, the Rockets and Spurs fading. I wonder what someone needs to find the ATS record for the fourth quarter. Fading Rockets and Spurs. If someone can find that would be awesome.
I think you can find it. I think it's on EV Analytics.
Is it?
I think so. I think you can filter by quarter. Yeah.
EV Analytics. Oh shit, there is.
Fourth quarter ATS last 10 games. Probably 0-10.
Rockets and Spurs. Right there.
Victor Wembanyama.
Oh shit. Okay. I might just do that the rest of the season.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? Man, I'm gonna put like a quarter unit on this for the rest of the season. Rockets and Spurs, fade them in the fourth quarter.
Right.
See what happens. Watch me be up hella.
Yeah, you will. I'm gonna be right there with you too.
Spurs. All right. Fuck. When I start coughing, that means I've been talking too much. Okay, let's do we got 2 more games. Mavs and Suns here. You have anything on this one?
Which one? Mavs and Suns first?
Mavs and Suns, yeah.
Mavs and Suns, RC. Let me see what I got in my notes. I got first of all, really, really difficult to back the Mavs recently. I mean, there are playoff implications on this game that would make you want to think that the Suns would, come out here and take this game serious. They are coming off a couple wins in a row, trying to get right. The Mavs are going in the opposite direction. They've been losing. You look at them as away dogs. That was one of the first things I looked at, RC. 3-7 against the spread. So first off, this is the third matchup of the season with both teams splitting earlier this season. Dallas won their home game and Phoenix won their home game, but Dallas did cover both spreads. So I got the Mavs 3-7 against the spread as away dogs this season, 0-4 straight up and against the spread in their last 4 with losses to the Thunder, the Clippers, and the back-to-back losses to the to the Blazers. Suns, they're first in defensive rating over the last 3 games, RC. Mavs, middle of the pack. Mavs also 29th defensively last 15 road games. So we talk about the Mavs going over because I think they're 7-3 to the over in that spot. They just do not play defense on the road. Coming off the home loss against the Wizards, maybe they turn up in this spot, but I was looking at the Suns team total to actually go over 112.5, RC. Fate of the Mavericks defense. Opposing teams are 8-2 to the over on their team total when the Mavs are away dogs this season, including 4 straight. Looking deeper off a home loss, which you think the Mavs would come out and be a little more sharper on the defensive end. The Mavs as away dogs coming off a loss, 0-2 straight up and against the spread, allowing both of their opponents to clear their team total by 11.5 and 31.5 points in this spot. So it will be a look towards the Suns team total over, but I don't know if I could trust the Suns quite yet, RC. They are 4-0. Last note, RC. The Suns are 4-0 straight up and against the spread their last 4 home games without Devin Booker. And they've cleared the 111.5, which is their point total for the day in each of those 4 games.
Yeah. Munaf in the chat, Mavs first half ATS on the road on the season, the worst team ATS wise first half. Fuck. It's happening. Okay. That makes sense. I do like the Suns too. I also like the over for the most part, and for a lot of the reasons that you mentioned, right? The Mavs defense. So if we look, if we look at in-season revenge, they're not doing well. They haven't, performed well at all on the offensive side of the ball. But for the most part, the last 4 games here at home, they have been playing better offensively, right? And then if we go to the Maverick side, I think you touched on this. Just as road dogs in general, 1-9 straight up, 3-7 ATS, 7-3 to the over. And you can see that the opponent's team totals, they're going over at a high rate. That's 8-2 to the over for them, for the most part. And then the other thing too was road games following a home game, so that travel spot. 2-7, 7-2 to the over. Again, really looking towards the Suns team total over, like you mentioned, right? I can only look towards the Suns, the Suns team total over. Those are the ways that I would go here. Suns really just figuring it out finally offensively without Booker, but it could also be just a home court thing, right? That's the only way that I could look on this one.
Same, RC. Yeah, and I think we talk about this all the time, but if you take the team total over, you don't have to worry about them winning the game or not, right? This is like a playoff revenge game, right? So it could have that defensive type feel, but I think Chris made a great point in the comment section as well. RC, he said you can't overlook that 2 of the top 3 wing defenders for the Mavs both missed about 20 games and just returned over the past week.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like they just gave up 130 points. Was it 130, 126 to the Wizards? Like, in that same situation with both of those guys. So, Suns going to be motivated, at home. I think this is also like the 4th straight home game for the Suns as well, I see. So, trying to get their rhythm back, getting Chris Paul acclimated back into the lineup. I still be looking towards the Suns. It's not a super strong play, which is why I don't have any money on it, but I'm not looking towards the Mavs until they show me.
So first road game off of at least 2 straight home games. They're struggling there too. 1-4 ATS.
What about the Suns? I see when they won their last home game, and then they got another home game in their favorite.
Yeah, everything seems to be pointing towards the Suns.
I know a lot of those right there probably got Devin Booker in it, but still, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, at least they've been kind of figuring it out lately. They've been kind of figuring it out offensively. So
this has been during this homestand too. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I can only look towards the Suns and the over in that one. Did you have any props on this? Wood is out for how long?
Christian Wood out, I think, until like the middle of next month. I think I want to say like middle of February.
Long time.
Yeah, he out for a minute. He's gonna be out at least 3 weeks, I think, before he's even reevaluated. So I think Markel got a good look in the chat. Chris Paul double-double's been cashing. I couldn't talk anybody off that. His assists at 9.5. But not I didn't really look at props in this game, I see. Not much at all. Luka owns the Suns, though, so maybe a look towards his PRA over. We know that if anybody's going to show up, it's typically Luka on the road. So,
yeah, I can only look towards the Suns. I might. Did it open at 1.5?
Yeah, I think it did. When I saw it last night, it was at 1.5.
Okay, it stayed at 1.5 too.
Mm-hmm.
Damn. I might just look towards the over. To be honest, I think that's the way that I go. I don't think I'm gonna mess with the spread. Like you said, Luka owns the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
Might be that motivation spot that he needs.
Yeah, look at that real quick, RC. Luka game log versus the Suns, and I'll tell you what his points, rebounds, and assists at.
Damn. He has not hit a triple double, and he's under on the assists because he's primarily trying to smash on the points.
Oh, maybe they have been doing a better job. His PRA line sitting at 23.5 right now. I see minus 122.
What, 23?
53.5.
Oh shit! I was.
Right. No, we shut the show down if we see that low RC. We just put out a whole bankroll on that.
What's his points prop?
His points prop specifically is 34.5 minus 122.
Man, this is interesting. Okay. Man, these books are good.
Did we go back to Dinwiddie? I know we cashed on him the other day. 18.5. He cashed that for us the other day. He's still going to be the second option.
Yeah. Threes and points, right?
Yep, threes and points. 18.5. What's that? 5 games in a row? 6 games in a row?
18.5, yeah. That might be the way to go.
What about, and shot attempts is definitely there too. What about him versus the Suns specifically, Ozzy? How do you play against the Suns? You got to think Mikal Bridges is going to end up drawing Luka, right? So Spencer Dinwiddie will get the second best defender versus the first one.
Would that be Cam Johnson? Is Cam Johnson back in the starting lineup, or
Cam
is he
Johnson?
still...
I think he came off the bench, right? In his return. Maybe they did put him
off
back
the bench in his return, but I'm assuming at some point he's going to come back to the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, only way that I could look is to the over. That'd be the way that I go. Shout out to everyone dropping their plays in the chat. Damn you. Dinwiddie, double. Ayton should dominate, but yeah. Cam Johnson threes. Yeah, just take the PRA for who? Luka? Or
Dinwiddie? Probably so. That's LJ guy. He loved Luka.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Any last comments on this game before we move on to the last one? No. All right, let's go Spurs and Clippers. All right, so let's get an update. Who's playing for the Spurs now? Because I really wanted to take the Spurs, but now I don't know.
So I think everybody's in RC minus Josh Richardson getting downgraded to questionable, which that impacts the offense a lot because he is like one of their top 3 best scorers, even though he comes off the bench. Romeo Langford has been rolled out with an abductor, and Jeremy Sochan, their best perimeter defender, is also listed as out.
Fuck.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, he's not listed as out. So he's listed as doubtful. Probably not going to play, but he's listed as doubtful officially, especially on the second night of a back-to-back. Stanley Johnson also listed as questionable. It's a quad injury for Jeremy Sochan, so he probably won't play.
Did you have a look on this one?
Yeah, I was going straight to if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Looking at the Clippers team total. No, Clippers team total over. I just think it's going to be a high scoring game. I know that historically, like these teams typically go under in LA, but they just played against each other earlier last week. So what I got for you is the Spurs last in defensive rating over the last 3 games. You look at the Spurs on the second leg of a back-to-back. They're allowing 122 points per game. And 4 of their 6 opponents have gone over their team total, including 3 straight. So the Spurs in away games on the second leg of a back-to-back defense only gets worse. Lakers scored 123, Magic scored 133, and the Thunder scored 130. They continue to play with pace. They are 5th. Last 5 games, they're 11th in pace. So Spurs, scoring the ball, also playing with a lot of pace. Even though the Clippers are last in pace over the last 5 games, they actually have the first offensive rating, 136.2. And they're getting healthy with both PG and Kawhi back in the lineup and scoring. Clippers just scored 131 against them last week. Also got 133 against the Lakers the other day. So I think they kind of keep it going offensively in this spot, RC.
All right. Fuck. I feel like not betting anything at all today.
Look at that query I just sent you, RC. This is the last thing I had.
Oops. Spurs off a loss on the road where the opponent is coming off of a win.
What I was looking at specifically on that, RC, is the team total for the opposing team is 7-2 to the over.
Is everybody in for the Clippers?
As far as we know, yes. They got 1 day's rest, and I don't think anybody's gonna rest in this one that we know of.
Mm-hmm.
I also think like not looking at trends or anything. I think the Spurs just want to. I mean, the Clippers got to get right. We know that they missed. A lot of those guys been missing time in and out of the rotation, and now that they've gotten PG and Kawhi both healthy, they've been playing really really well. Recently. So I look for them to be able to score the ball today. I think the Spurs speed up the pace. Similar to the way the Lakers sped up the pace. Both teams pretty fast in pace, and the Clippers can score. We know that they can score, and with Jeremy Socon being ruled out, and being that better perimeter defender, PG and Kawhi are gonna get whatever it is that they want tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I look for the Clippers to be able to score. I think the team total is like 122.5, 121.5. I think they get to 125, 130 tonight.
Munaf just mentioned the Spurs on the first quarter back-to-back, the average margin there close to 6 points. What is it, like 3.5?
Yeah, I think he said it was 3.5. We talked about that offline too. Yeah, okay. I think it's 3.5. 3.5. He was talking about taking the Clippers in the first half. I mean, in the first quarter. I'm sorry. First quarter spread is 4.5 now, RC. But you see a 6-point gap there.
Yeah. I mean, so this is one thing that we always look at, right? I mean, obviously the Clippers at home has been the cash cow, right? 19-4-1 to the under at home specifically. One thing that I wanted to look at was home following a road game. And this is where it gets funky because they played in LA.
So I was about to say that was a home game.
Yeah. It's a road game, but they played. They're still in LA, right? So initially, this is what I looked at, right? Because they are coming off of a road game, or whatever. 2-7 straight up, 1-8 ATS, 9-0 to the under. But because they played LA, they didn't have to travel. So what I did was, PO team equals Lakers. I took this out because they're pretty much in LA. But they're 0-2 straight up, 0-2 ATS, 2-0 to the under for the most part. Obviously, these two teams here, I think this was after the coaching change, so the Nets were a better defensive team. Here, the Kings, they played the Kings. I don't know. I think maybe this was just really early in the season that the Kings really haven't put together their offense yet, but obviously they're a lot better team now. This is the biggest number that they've seen in that spot. The other thing too is line is double-digit favorites in general. That's not what I looked at. Sorry, Spurs. Spurs as double-digit dogs. 2-7 straight up, but 6-3 ATS. Covered the last 4 spots there. By I would say a pretty decent margin, right? At least 4 in each of those games. Their team.
What about on the road specifically, RC?
Yeah, I can look at that.
I think it's even better, right?
Yeah, 5-2. 5-2 ATS. Failed to get, so it's either they cover or they get smashed.
Right.
Like, this is so bad.
Did you look at same season revenge, RC? Because they did just come off a loss against the Clippers. I didn't look at that.
But they lost. Didn't they lose every single game against them?
I think so.
'Cause they played them 2 times. 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 2 I don't even know if revenge matters to these guys.
Yeah,
Some
I
teams
mean,
don't matter.
clearly
It just
they
don't matter.
they throwing this game. RC clearly, like they don't care about this game.
Fuck. Spurs
But
team total under.
to your point, that 123 to 113 would indicate that they would cover. The Spurs up to 13 now. With those injuries coming out, so they still cover that. You just, then one of the ones you take, RC, you just go to sleep, wake up in the morning, check your account.
I'll be doing that with soccer sometimes. Let's do. All right, man. I don't know where to go today. To be honest, man, this is nasty. Today's slate is nasty. You actually played bets already?
It's a lot of bad teams versus a lot of pretty good teams.
That's what I'm saying. And then we've seen it. We just looked at it. These bad teams are covering, right? 50 with teams with a winning record are they're not losing, but they're not covering against these teams with a bad record. It's just that mentality, dude. Like if we looked at yesterday, the Bucks should have smashed the Nuggets, but they saw Jokic out, they saw Murray out. There was no motivation for them to play hard at all. Makes no sense. I don't know what to do, bro. I don't know what to do with this slate here today. I don't know. I don't have no bets. But Rockets, Spurs, fade them in the fourth quarter. That might just be the way I go for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
You're doomed.
Yeah, I'm with you, RC. Celtics for me, though. Celtics team total to go over 115.5.
Yeah, Clippers got nothing to prove. Exactly. Kawhi's going to hug Pop after the game like nothing happened. Bet on Ski eating a burger on the balcony tonight. That's minus 1,500. It actually might be a hot link at minus 600. Yeah, I don't know. That's it. That's the end of the slate. All 6 games. Let's go with recap. I don't even know what to recap. I have no idea what to recap. Let's go. Let's go over it. Do you have any? So let's drop some. Do you have any officials you want to drop?
Yeah, I'm gonna play the Celtics. RC. I am gonna play that team total over 115.5 for all the reasons that we talked about. I think fading the Knicks without Mitchell Robinson, even though they played well in the home game, I do think that the Celtics score 116 points or more tonight. I like the spot for them getting all their guys back. So top look of the day for me would be the Celtics team total over the 115.5. Yeah, that's about it.
I have no. I can't even think of a prop. Munaf dropped Bulls first quarter, Suns first half. First time ever. Nah, I can't even do that. I can't even give you the number of any single prop. Maybe Dinwiddie 2.5 threes. That's the only one that I can remember from the past week because I've been following you guys. This is from all my work from last night when I was breaking down these games. These were the initial leans. I haven't placed a bet myself. I'll just get that out the way right now. Have not placed a bet. But these are the looks from last night, and this doesn't account for any of the injury news from today. But under on the Hornets game, possible under to the team total if LaMelo is out. On the Knicks Celtics game, I was actually looking towards the Knicks last night on the spread, and also towards the over on the full game. Pistons Nets, I passed that game. Cavs Rockets, I was actually looking towards the Rockets for the most part, but I think the way that I go here is really just fade the Rockets in that fourth quarter. This might be that situation where the Cavs come out sloppy and they start to take things serious in the fourth quarter. The opposite could happen, though. Maybe they take it serious in the first half so they could chill in the second half. But I think the way that goes is going to be that fade the Rockets fourth quarter.
Cavs on the first leg of a back-to-back, RC, or no?
Cavs are on the first leg of back-to-back. They got Thunder on deck.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the reason why I was thinking it's possible that they do the opposite, that they try to smash first half so they could chill the second half. But then Mavs Suns, I can only look towards the Suns and the over in that one. And then Spurs Clippers. Last night I was looking at the Spurs and the under. I don't know right now. What's the number at right now?
13.5.
It's still at 13. It's still at 13. I can still only look towards the Spurs. I think this is a huge number that to the point where, I mean, obviously the Clippers should be able to win this one, but 13 seems like a lot. It does seem like a lot to me here in this spot, especially with the Clippers. They're going into a 5-game Eastern Conference road trip, so they're going to be traveling for the next week and a half to 2 weeks on the East. Maybe they chill in that fourth quarter. Fuck, I don't even know if I want to play the fourth quarter anymore.
So honestly, think about this for a second, right?
So we just did a whole hour with no bets for me. All right.
I see. So if you think the Spurs, because you talked about the Spurs plus 13, if you think the Spurs going keep the game with the 13, is it going to be because their offense shows up and the Clippers just overlook them, or do you think it's going to be a defensive type matchup?
I think it's defense. I think two things is Clippers let down as far as like I think what didn't they score like 130 in the last game?
They scored 130 twice, but it's also just PG and Kawhi coming back. So
I think maybe it's an offensive letdown for them. There's no look at what happened to the Bucks yesterday. There was no sense of urgency on their side to win that game. I mean to play to their best level, to the highest level. They're now the Clippers are pretty much in the same spot. They know they're the better team. They have this huge spread. What type of motivation do they have to play hard in this game?
None. Right? The only difference is RC. The Nuggets play with pride, and I think they like to. When Jokic didn't play, they're like, "Oh, well, we the next man up. We're gonna step up. We're gonna play hard." The Spurs, they'll have anything to play for.
That's true, though. That is true.
Two different caliber teams there. So, yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but it's tough, RC. Like you said, the whole card is tough, man.
Yeah. The other thing too, I can see the Clippers going over their team total. For the most part, because I feel like it might be. Fuck, I don't know, man. This is dumb. I don't like this slate at all. But hopefully, people that's watching learn something. I don't know. Like we talk about a lot of trends. We talk a lot about stats. But man, that winning record versus losing record, that thing is on my mind. Like, it has to be a mental. It has to be a mental thing. And this number being so high. Actually, you know what? Let's do that one more thing. Before we go,
I think Munaf hit it on the head. I see. He said Clippers need to stack up wins. They are half a game back and 4 spots out of the West and 2.5 back on the third spot. So when I think of that, I don't think they're necessarily having to cover the spread. I just think of them having to score points, right? Like it's against the Spurs. Like it should come easy. I think they could walk into 125 points in this game tonight. But I also think the Spurs can score too.
Spurs have to Google what pride is. Clippers. All right, one more thing before we go.
You sharing your screen? Share your screen.
Shoot, sorry. There you go. It's stuck, but I'm looking at the win percentage, right? Team with a winning record versus team with a losing record, and then double-digit favorite. So currently, 20, 24, and 4. That means to fade ATS wise, but not super profitable, but to the over. Because they know my thought is they know they can outscore this team. Why do they need to focus on any defense, right? Or like why do they need to expend any energy on the defensive side of the ball? When you play a weak team, right? Doesn't that make sense?
No, it makes perfect sense.
And then we see the Clippers. Fuck. Yeah, we see the Clippers at home where they're typically an under team. But can they keep an under at 19-4-1 like consistent throughout the season? That's just gonna turn around at some point, right? Why not today?
Yep. That's why you're gonna go over their team total. That's why I like that play.
All right. There you have it. I don't know, man. I have no idea. But I gave out my leans and my looks. I don't have anything official. To be honest, man, it's been tough to bet the NBA lately. I gotta wait until like 30 minutes before. Who was it yesterday that got announced 30 minutes before the game? Was it Embiid? Not Embiid. The Denver game. They were all questionable until 30 minutes before the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's what you talk about with the Nets game today. That could happen in the Nets game today.
Exactly. They were not on the list to begin the day. Well, man. One thing I want to share before we go, someone sent me a message on Twitter, and I want to share this because to me it means a lot. Because this is like the goal of the show. He said, Just want you to know, I appreciate your show because you showed me some shit that answered a question I've had since I started gambling 5 years ago, and I'll be forever grateful for that. Let's cap. I think that is the goal of the show. I talk about the bets that we have, talk about the leans. We go over a lot of things on the show as far as like how to find information. I mean, SDQL is not it to a point when you start using it, it becomes a simple tool, right? I mean, Chris, you picked it up within a week. It's not something that is technical. It's not like a technical language. Like you don't have to be an IT professional to be able to do this. You really just have to have the passion to learn it because and we this is in sports, right? It's easier to learn something when you're passionate about what you're learning. And if we're passionate about sports, then you're gonna want to learn SDQL. But for the most part, what he said was like, he's gonna be appreciative whether I lose or not, right? He's not here for my picks. He's here to learn, and that's the main goal of Let's Cat is to build a community, a positive community, and to be able to win together and learn and just build. I mean, and that's the goal of this show. So and that's why I say at the end of the show, right? Whether you fade us or follow us, it is on you to make that call. We're here to give you information and provide you things that maybe you didn't know before the show started. And I don't know. That's how I go, and that's how I want the show to continue to be. Not about the picks, not about us winning or losing, but it's about us being together, being a community, chatting together, providing information. That's it, bro. That's it.
Trying to
That's
cash.
it.
Yeah, we just trying to
Yeah. I mean,
cash.
obviously, we want to win, right? Obviously, we want to win, and that's a personal thing. We all want to win. We all want to cash. We want to see our bankroll grow. But for the most part, I don't want this to be a pick show. I don't want this to be like I'm gonna come here, fast forward to the recap and see what these guys are on, so I could fade them or follow them or whatever it is, right? It's all about the whole process, the thought process, right? That's it. Um, so let's end with that. Let's end with that. Whether you fade us or follow us, it's on you guys to make that call. Good luck with all your action. Till next time, peace.